It's currently 7:51 p.m. This is some of the homemade macaroni and cheese and some of the homemade chicken French that my dad's mom gave to us the other day. It's pretty good. And Dad added some sausage to the meal. My dad added the extra cheese and the pepperoni to the macaroni and cheese while reheating it. Me and my dad donated whole blood today. And we were there at the American Red Cross Center, donation center, roughly from 9 in the morning to about 10 in the morning. We both went through the health screening process. Which just took 10 to 15 minutes. About roughly the same amount of time the donation itself took. From what I recall, I went fast in the beginning. Slowed down to a trickle midway. But then the staff managed to resolve the problem. So I went fast again and finished fast. I recall first waking up today about half an hour before the 7 in the morning alarm. I sat on my laptop using a third-party website. So I naturally woke up around 6:30 in the morning. My dad and I left around 8 in the morning to do the whole blood donation. I recall first going to bed today around 3 in the morning. And I first naturally woke up around 6:30 in the morning, so I didn't get much sleep prior to. My whole blood donation. But I did get a considerable breakfast. About 1.5 sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit sandwiches. Yeah, because initially Dad got one sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit sandwich meals. One for each of us. They come with a drink and a hash brown along with the sandwich. For my drink, I got a milk. And it's always a 2% milk. And my dad got essentially a plastic glass of orange juice. I opted for the milk as I figured it's healthier than orange juice. I only had some cartons of grape juice, some cartons of juice, grape juice in particular, because I figured it was healthier, had more vitamins than the cartons of apple juice. The juice, it was essentially all that was available. At the recovery area as beverages other than water. I recall having 2 of those. I then took a 1 for myself. For the road, I took 2, 1 for me and 1 for my dad. Along with a snack-sized bag of Cheez-Its and a snack-sized bag of the Fruit Welches for the road. This being after having a snack-sized bag of Eddie's Zesty Jalapeno potato chips and a snack-sized bag of trail mix consisting of raisins, peanuts, sunflower seeds, and some almonds. While me and my dad were at the recovery area, we got to the American Red Cross Donation Center we always go to around 8:45 in the morning. By the time we were done eating, we each had 1.5 sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit sandwiches because the McDonald's we went to gave us an extra one. It was about a minute before 9 in the morning, the time of my appointment for the whole blood donation. I felt tired by the time we got back to my dad's place around 10:15. In the morning. Yeah, but I still stayed up to go through my current rotation of games on Kongregate. And I think I recall going back to bed around 12:15 p.m. or so. 1 p.m. at the latest, and I naturally woke back up, I think around 6 p.m. "5:30 p.m. as the earliest wake up time. I recall taking the Band-Aid that was wrapped around the top of my middle finger on this hand, roughly around somewhere between 10:30 in the morning and 11:30 in the morning. It's currently 8:12 p.m. and I still have the wrap Band-Aid I was given following the whole blood donation. And when I took the Band-Aid I was given following the hemoglobin test, it left a bit of sticky residue on the top of my middle finger, though I don't feel it at this time. This is the last of the pecan pie. I added some whipped cream to it. What I've done during these early night hours is to take a few wipes my dad gave me right before I started the first part of this video recording that. I first wiped down the keyboard, then this area. Then I wiped the screen. And then I wiped the back part of my current laptop. This being after I booted my laptop off. Holding down this button, and then I booted it back up once I was done wiping my laptop down. Ever since, I've been drawing some squares on this polystyrene ball in order to do essentially some final experimentation and reorganization of my marker tray. Those two Sharpie markers that are holding that polystyrene ball in place will most likely be the last two Sharpie markers I put back into the marker tray before deciding on the final arrangement of all the Sharpie markers within my marker tray. All these squares are primarily made using these Sharpie markers so that I could decide, and these two so I could decide to put this Pumpkin Spice Mystery Sharpie marker here. Deciding it had a place and it wasn't redundant. After all, it did have a place within my marker tray, and I put it as a new skin tone Sharpie marker within this range, this particular facials range. I didn't have any coffee today, partially because you're not supposed to have coffee right before a whole blood donation or anything similar to that, since coffee dehydrates you. Instead, I used one of the coffee mugs I use regularly and had about 2 cups of water during the roughly hour or so between me waking up the first time today and me and my dad leaving to go to our whole blood donation appointment. And then I didn't have coffee after the whole blood donation because I fell asleep later on today, and by the time I woke up from that, it was the evening hours. Too late to really bother having coffee. And plus, I'm hoping tonight will be the night I get back on a good sleep schedule. Another thing I did during the early night hours was to complete the second story chapter for this game, and thus I got the second easy badge. For this game. This mech unit is the only healer within my team, and I tend to keep it that way.